spawning up in the top right corner, placing 14th in the global rankings due to his stunning success at the start of the year. What has he been doing in the second half? We hope to see a treat today. From Incredible Miracle, the champion of last year's BlizzCon, it is MVP!
And his opponent, who really doesn't need an introduction. Down here is the Blue Zerg playing for Team EG. It is none other than Lee Jaedong!
You know, in this matchup, we do see Biomine versus Ling, Baneling, Mutalisk. But it's been really interesting to see the way that the Zergs are adjusting. You know, it used to be, you'd follow a pretty typical rule set. I'm going to build Mutalisks and Lings with my leftover money. And if I see an attack coming, cool, I'll begin to build some Banelings in response. But increasingly, we've been seeing Zergs deviate from that in wildly different directions. Zerg players saying, I'm going to build no Banelings until I get 22 Mutalisks. That's the amount that allows me to control mines, medevacs, pick off small marine packs. We've started to see players like Jaedong actually cut Mutalisks and favor Banelings early for attacks instead of thinking about it on the defensive. And Jaedong knows that MVP loves to do these early expands. I wouldn't be surprised to see a third hatch out of Jaedong, although he does like to play a little conservatively and get that pool.
Yeah, and there is the spawning pool coming down here for Jaedong, but command center on the low ground here for MVP, a opening that many considered very risky, and it is very risky, but over time, over the last couple of months, every single Terran player will always put the command center on the high ground and will not lose versus an early spawning pool. Calculated choice here from MVP saying, all right, you're not going to do an early spawning pool in this game, this will be fine.
At this point in time, Jaedong's just going to be scouting, nothing surprising. In this matchup, I don't actually think there's very much variation at the start of the game. Really, up until 11, 12 minutes, everyone's doing the same thing. And those things for Terran are 3 command center, double upgrades, and massive biomine production. Jaedong's going to be going for 4 hatch, double upgrades for his Zerglings, and big Ling, Baneling, Muta production.
All right, we'll see if that does follow through here in this first game between these two players. Jaedong without the extractor taken yet here, so it does look like he is just going to play a macro-focused game here. Getting his queens up and running, taking his gases, we'll be looking at a third base. He has overlords, or at least one overlord at the time, being in position, ready to move in, ready to get that clarification on what MVP will be wanting to do.
Jaedong had some pretty heartbreaking games versus Pult at the Season 3 finals. Games where he was in fantastic position and slipped behind, but...
Ooh, that was a little bit unfortunate, that SCV. Wasn't able to get inside the main base to scout the gases here. But one thing that really stands out, a second gas has been taken here by MVP, and Jaedong has spotted it. I really think we're going to be seeing the style that MVP created a long time ago, which has been starting to get back in to the recent meta game, and that is going to be Hellions and Banshees together.
You know, Hellion Banshee is an excellent style. It allows you to have the Hellions for space control, and then the Banshee provides a little bit of extra oomph. Wait a minute, an armory.
Wow.
Oh my God, are we going to be seeing Hellbat drops, you know?
I think we could be seeing Hellbat drops. We also could be seeing Hellbat Marauder. It's another thing that we have seen from MVP in the past here. It depends on if we see a Tech Lab immediately thrown onto that barracks here. But Jaedong spotted the second gas. He knows the likelihood of a Stargate is very high here. But to be able to predict an armory is very difficult.
So hard. I mean, you know, this matchup, you even heard me say, we just don't really have variation for the first 11, 12 minutes. And that has been true for about 5, 6 months now, half a year of time of everyone essentially agreeing to do about the same types of things. But MVP doing a great move here. Jaedong's going to be going for a third, because if your opponent's going biomine, he's going to be cutting a hell of a lot of corners to make it succeed. So most Zergs are going to cut equally big corners themselves.
Jaedong needs to find out some information with an Overlord, which is going inside the main base. From a second gas here, the 3 options is a Stargate for Banshees, it's going over to Blue Flame Hellions, and the other one is a random off armory here, but he gets no information whatsoever. That was successfully deflected there by MVP.
Now, if I'm Jaedong, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to see, wait a minute, there's no Tech Lab on that barracks? Okay, well in that case, you're probably going to be going Hellion Banshee, or you're going to be going Hellion Viking.
Yes.
Just trying to do some annoying harassment. Rarely ever would you expect there to be some sort of Hellbat drop. That's like Season 1 style stuff. And look already at Jaedong's production. We don't see a Roach Warren. We don't even see Zergling Speed quite done yet. It will be done in time for the Hellbats.
MVP is going Hellbat Marauder here, a combination of units that he used a very long time ago here. And I don't know how much practice Jaedong's had against that, but the Hellbat drop, the first one, is on its way out. This will be followed up by a Stim, Medivac, Marauder, Hellbat timing. A very difficult thing to deal with here. Jaedong will be put to the test.
Now these Zerglings haven't gotten the chance to see anything yet, but they're going to poke up and see the down lift, and there's a pair of Hellbats, and that's immediately going to cause Jaedong to go, what is going on? Yeah. What is his answer? Instant Baneling Nest. Is there going to be a third hatch? No, he's going to skip that in favor of trying to stay alive and trying to defend, and we even see Spine Crawlers planting as well.
All right, well, Jaedong knows exactly what's going on. He sees the drop, he's seen the Marauders as well back at home, and here come the Hellbats. I'm not sure they're going to do that much damage there. There was a full surround by the Zergling, so excellent move from Jaedong, but this is far from over. MVP is only just getting started.
It looks like he's going to be trying to apply a pressure to the front. He's getting some reasonable pickoffs, but Jaedong's managed to annihilate every single one of those Hellbats. And here's the push coming at the front. Like you say, it's this very unusual Marauder, Hellbat, Marine shove. And with a couple of scans, he can definitely clean up a lot of those creep tumors, but that's not the goal with this attack. It's going to be to try to kill off absolutely as much as possible.
Jaedong identifying what he's playing against, has thrown these two Spine Crawlers down and is pushing this back for now. And with consistent reinforcements coming in from Jaedong, he should be able to keep MVP away. And so far, so good here from the Tyrant.
I mean, Jaedong is holding strong, but look at this. The Spire isn't done yet. It's, in fact, only halfway complete. Rest of things being rounded out back home for MVP. We're seeing Barracks Engineering Base, but this push is where Jaedong's attention is going to be focused for the time being. And I think MVP is going to do his trademark move, pulling back carefully, pulling back safely, and trying to attack on a sunnier day.
And this is not good at all for MVP. If he doesn't do damage, which he hasn't done yet in this game, he's only just about to finish up with his engineering base. Jaedong has 1-1 completed. Jaedong can research 2-2 here, and he will have a major advantage. A lot of money was invested in this play from MVP. It has not worked. The Spire is finished. Does he have any really anti-air, considering he's been building Marauders and Hellbats in this game?
Wow, what an insane play from MVP, and Jaedong's responding reasonably appropriately. He's injecting in his all his hatches, and the big thing that we're seeing absent is that macro hatch, which is, I think, the most important tool to holding off the biomine aggression. Without that extra hatch, I mean, that's basically an extra 12 to 16 Zerglings every minute.
All right, well, the turrets are coming in now from MVP, expecting Mulus eventually in this game. He's got 2 Medivacs out now, so if he's able to find some way to deal damage with these 4 Hellbats across 2 Medivacs, then absolutely MVP can start to bring this game equal once again, but for the time being, Jaedong is leading this. But let's find out now, are these double drops going to work?
Well, it looks like he's found the drone pack. He's going to try to do a shot. Nope, not going to happen. Mulus arrive immediately, and now MVP is going to be trying to assault into the main base.
Well, Medivacs, well, the first one's getting chased out and is destroyed at the north. The south one is now going to enter the main base here. Jaedong's Mulus are far away, but they're just not getting the connections into the drone lines. This is not successful whatsoever here for MVP.
Jaedong is expanding into this aggression. He's saying, yeah, there's really no threat here at all, so why would I be concerned? Let me just expand right away and exploit the fact that you, Terran, spent so much money on Hellbats, there's no way you have enough to support Bio. I don't even know if Combat Shield is done at this point in time.
I cannot stress how well Jaedong is playing at this point in time. He's deflected everything. He's got his creep spread going, he's got a fantastic Overlord spread, he's got map control, he knows that his opponent is just now about to expand, he's got a 4th base coming down, he's going to be able to start to increase his army size. MVP really needs to start to find a way to build an army, to find a way to slow Jaedong down, otherwise this game's going to start to get out of control.
Now, in terms of how do you deal with this army out of MVP, well, MVP actually just needs to begin attacking soon. He doesn't have a lot of mines. He's not going to be as strong against Mutalisk. He's not going to be as strong against zoning Mutalisk. In fact, Banelings are going to be one of the bigger problems for MVP in this spot. So the only way he can really engage is if he keeps the Baneling and the Zergling, or excuse me, the Baneling and the Mutalisk count low.
Yeah, but I mean, he needs to start dropping. He needs to start to find a way. Right now, Jaedong is mining from a 4th base. With the amount of gas and minerals that he's going to start to invest from this 4th base, or really gather then invest from this 4th base, he's going to have way too many Mutalisks, way too many Banelings. He can start to look to move over towards the 5th base. But for the time being, here's MVP's push. His macro, by the way, has been absolutely fantastic. Somehow, someway, he is up to 178 supply. and that is a large army that he has built throughout all of this. The upgrades aren't quite there yet. Jaedong will have 2-2, but will Jaedong find the right fight here?
There's the scan. Jaedong has to retreat now. He's got to get into a key position. With those early 4 queens, his creep spread is there. And we're seeing MVP yet again play extremely cautiously, pulling back, making sure there's no threats to these bases. Somehow getting maxed in the midst of all this. MVP has been so on point. There's a key timing that Jaedong's missing, which is the timing to hive. Right now is when he prepared, but look at these little counterattacks from Jaedong. This is what makes his TVZ so potent.
He's got to be careful because obviously the MVP has not stopped building Hellbats in this game. There's 16 of them. The Baneling connections need to be good here because Zerglings will not cut it enough. Jaedong's going to come in.
It is. But the Marine lines keep going back and back and back, and Jaedong eats it hard.
Jaedong is killing the third at the same time. He will pick off the third. If Jaedong comes back and defends against this attack, Jaedong will be in good position. But does he have the right Baneling connections? 21 Banelings are on the way here, Day9, but where the hell are they?
Where are the Banelings? The Banelings have been eaten up in round 1. This is round 2 of Baneling production from Jaedong, and this angle is the nightmare situation. This is not what Jaedong wants to be up against, but we're seeing some Hellbats get very lost in this spot, and the Mutalisks arrive to pick them off. Banelings trying to shoot in from the right side. Is the spread from MVP going to be enough? He's doing a nice job, but the macro from Jaedong is great.
There's a lot more Lings on the way. Jaedong with his 2 upgrades is going to clean up this army for now.
No! 18 mutas arrive in time, and with no anti-air, MVP is forced to retreat into his reinforced line.
But 2-2 is about to complete for MVP, and he's got a lot of units spraying across the map. Now this is incredibly close. Will MVP be able to push forward here?
Jaedong leads 129 to 110. MVP can't keep going limbo line mode. He's got to be so careful. And no, there's the GG. Jaedong takes game 1.
Excellent play from Jaedong from start to finish. It looked rather close there towards the end. Even though MVP's strategy overall it didn't quite work, we have to just look at him and say, boy, are your mechanics good right now. His production, his ability to build an army at the size and the time that we saw, incredible.
Really stunning. But what stood out to me most in that game is Jaedong was faced with an unusually large army. I mean, normally around 15 minutes, you get a Terran that's maybe at 150, 160 food, but has good upgrades. Not MVP in that game. He maxed out in tremendous army in no time flat. And in the midst of that pressure, what did Jaedong do? Had enough wherewithal to pull the counterattack at the expansion, to pick it off with Mutalisks, and still get back in time. It's such a tough choice to make.
And that's one of the choices that if a good Zerg player and a tournament-winning Zerg player, if he makes the right choice, then he will be able to get games like this. If he'd made the wrong choice, it's a completely different run in this tournament. And these small things are the reason why Jaedong's as good as he is.
I mean, that was just an incredible game by Jaedong, especially the first assault that didn't really do nearly enough damage, but Jaedong was able to keep his macro up without the bonus 4th hatchery. Sticking with just 3 is an extremely difficult task, and Jaedong pulled it off great. And I would say that that's one of the more tough maps to be up against a Terran on.
Do you think that we could see mech play come out from MVP here? Hellion Banshee into mech, an older style that we used to see from him?
The mech style that we've been seeing work nicely lately is an extremely mine-heavy mech. It's not Hellbat tank with Thor support. It's mine tank with Thor support. And if there's one person who I would trust to pull off mech in any matchup, it's going to be MVP.
All right, so here we are loaded into map number 2, Akalon Wastes. The next destination for these 2 players, and down here as the red Terran player playing for Team Incredible Miracle, it's MVP.
And in the top left-hand corner, ooh, he's got a surprise in store for us in this game. The man who's building the pool on 8 supply from EG, it is Jaedong!
Jaedong may be asking a very direct question here to MVP, saying, do you believe that you can get away with a command center first on the low ground? Do you really think that what you just did, will you do it again?
Do you think that's acceptable to CC first versus me? And MVP's like, Totally not. I agree. I was wrong. I'm going to build a barracks first. My bad. But I think that this is a really interesting choice from Jaedong, because this isn't just, ooh, I'm going to adjust versus you. This is, I have a plan coming up with this build order, and this drone is going to be a key component of it.
That's right. If, let's say, for example, we should obviously be seeing the Queen follow up this very naturally. Let's say Jaedong goes in and says, okay, he's not going Command Center first, he's got Reaper. What happens if Jaedong allows the Reaper to cross the map, allows the Reaper to enter Jaedong's base, and then hides his Zerglings, moves around the side, allows his Queen to do the defense for him, and those 8 Zerglings come. I mean, they could walk into the main base. You don't get a second supply depot.
That's exactly what he's going to be doing, Apollo. We see the Zerglings darting along the wrong side.
Usually, as a Terran player here, you don't get the second supply depot. You try to get down the command center as fast as possible in this regard. If Jaedong times this out correctly, depending on where the Reaper is, and he finds these Zerglings, this could be very intelligent from Jaedong.
Oh no, Jaedong accidentally lost the drone.
Doesn't know where the Reaper is now, so Jaedong, how smartly is he going to time this out? If the Lings go at the same time the Reaper there, that's mistimed.
He can also try to catch the Reaper right as it pops out. 3:30 to 3:35 tends to be the time.
All right, here's the Reaper. Jaedong's... he doesn't see the Lings, and they're in the main base!
What a move from Jaedong. Knows the timings in and out, waited patiently for the Reaper to depart, and now the SCVs are under fire.
They are under fire, and damage will be dealt tonight as Jaedong has killed off 4 workers already. 5 workers here, and more may die. An excellent move from Jaedong.
God, MVP is losing everything he has. He's down to 10 supply, 9 now. 7 SCVs remain on the field.
And Jaedong, excellent move there by Jaedong. He's not got the most incredible amount of drones behind this, but he made up for going for that 8 pull. He's got 14 drones to 8 SCVs now.
And the Queen up as well. I mean, even the investment in an orbital command is going to be a difficult one to justify. What do you do now in MVP's shoes? I think he's going to be going for as fast a factory as he can. Jaedong is going to be stilted on 2 bases for quite some time.
These Reapers, though, can allow MVP to catch back up into this game if they will be able to do damage over time to this Queen, as we're seeing. If he's able to catch some loose drones, these Reapers are everything. They're the only things right now that can change the state of this game. Oh, what? 3 SCVs?
Coming. It looks like he's going to try to be planting down a bunker between the 2 bases. Is he continuing on the Reaper production? You betcha. An interesting choice. Jaedong doesn't have Zergling speed yet. Jaedong definitely doesn't have roaches yet. 2 Queens, it's going to be just Queens. MVP's going for it.
Yeah, that Queen's really low as well. It's down to 41 hit points here. And Jaedong is going to switch up the Queens, but here comes double bunkers. MVP responding excellently to these Zerglings. Ooh, those Zerglings just popped.
MVP's reaction is too good. He might not be the fastest player. He might not play the fiercest biomine, but he understands what his opponent's weakness is. He's controlling this like a genius. And what is he going to do? He's target firing the Queen. Will it fall? It does. He loses a Reaper, but MVP just needs to get the bunker up, and there it is.
There it is, but there's no Reapers inside it at the moment. It's just an SCV, and these Zerglings are trying to bring that bunker down as fast as possible here. One gets salvaged, the other one gets destroyed here, and Jaedong does survive for now.
Wow, what a defense.
Yeah, great play from both sides here. Oh, Jaedong, he's decided to throw down a bailing nest.
Oh my God, no, and no one knows how to attack. Everyone's just attacking nonstop.
And there are so many Zerglings out at this point.
Jaedong's command center, no
21.
Way. No, Jaedong. I mean, these players' ability to respond in tense situations is uncanny. But MVP did get the reveal. He sees that the link count is very high.
But he doesn't really know when Zergling speed is going to be finished. It's 5 seconds away. He's going to lose the 3 Reapers, and if he loses the 3 Reapers, there is not going to be any defense at home. Jaedong's Zergling speed is finished. The Reapers!
The Reapers are going to get surrounded. Jaedong with the timing. See you later.
There's no defense. Day 9 at home. A bunker's trying to be constructed. A factory's trying to be built. There's nothing here. 10, 14 more Zerglings are coming, but Banelings will be morphed if Jaedong breaks this front wall.
Jaedong, Banelings being morphed. Jaedong, the answer to the answer. GG!
Jaedong takes a very fast 2-0 here in this series. And MVP is up against it now. Will need to win the next 3 games in a row.
You can tell that MVP is behaving as though it is 8 months ago. He's abiding by the rules of old, that if you get caught behind, you catch up with 3 command center. That after a Zerg attacks, he's done with attacking. There's only 1 push before layer tech. But we're seeing Jaedong answer MVP's answers in kind. You try to pull that counter against me. I know you can't have too much defense at home. A Ling Baneling all in and unorthodox, but a brilliantly chosen move by Jaedong.
Absolutely great moves from either side there. Just excellent decision making, but unfortunately Jaedong was the one to capitalize and finish MVP off there. And now we must go over to the 3rd map. Belshir Vestige is our next map.
Belshir Vestige is a very nice map for MVP. Any type of timing push he wants to pull off is going to be quite strong on that map. There's a lot of close positions. It's hard for Jaedong to get a 4th base. MVP can play standard. He can go early drop focus. He can even do 1 base plays on Belshir Vestige. It's all fair game, and I think that he needs to have either an extremely nice timing attack planned, but even then, I don't think it's nearly as good as just standard bio-mine.
Jaedong, over the last couple of tournaments we've seen, has shown a little bit of weakness against Terran players, getting beat 4-0 in both big finals against Pult. Is now, well, winning 2-0 versus MVP, and it's now time to move into map number 3 here, day 9.
Very rarely does it ever happen, but here we are in a best of 5. Game 3 is match point. The man on the left, the champion of 2011 BlizzCon, is on the ropes in the round of 16. Down in the bottom right-hand corner from Incredible Miracle. He's the king of wings and would love a Heart of the Swarm Championship trophy. If you'd like to see him pull the series back, give a cheer for Incredible Miracle's MVP! And his opponent, one of the most successful pro gamers of all time, a top 4 finish at BlizzCon would secure him the spot as the most successful pro gamer in any game in the history of esports. If you'd like to see him claim a 1st place win at BlizzCon, give a cheer for EG's Lee Jaedong! Probably for the better part of a decade, Fatality has held the title as the #1 pro gamer of all time. Of course, extremely well decorated across all sorts of first-person shooter games, but Jaedong, I mean, has performed so brilliantly in StarCraft Brood War and now here in StarCraft 2. There's so many people that transitioned over from Brood War who were Kespa players who struggled so much in StarCraft 2, and Jaedong struggled probably more than any other. But he has such tenacity, and you can see it paying off with his 2-0 lead.
He enjoys playing StarCraft 2. He wants to win a tournament, and we can see that within his determination to do well throughout this year, improving on his weaknesses. First of all, early this year, anybody that's followed Team EG in Pro League or Jaedong individually would know that his Zerg versus Protoss was one of his weakest when he came into StarCraft 2. He worked very hard on that, and we saw improvement over time. As of recent, his Zerg versus Terran somehow became his weakest. And right now, he's leading against one of the best here, 2-0. Now let's see how well-rounded he's going to be as he enters the biggest StarCraft 2 tournament of all time here at BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Jaedong and Sulky, really the 2 Zergs. They need to represent for their entire species here. Doing a very good job at that. The game looks like it's going to be amazingly standard, and MVP we already see having a little bit of respect, a little bit of fear there. There's a second supply depot already down.
Slows down his command center, but of course makes him a lot more safer against any early Zergling plays here. But one thing to note, there has been a gas taken from Jaedong early on in this game. Is this aggression from Jaedong?
This also seems a little bit like a cautious move from Jaedong, typically speaking. How will he afford this? He cuts the 4th queen. He's just going to be going 3 queen with this. There's the Zergling speed plopping down as well. Jaedong does like to go 3 queen, just do a little bit of creep spread and then get a swift 3rd at around 6.
Yeah, and I suppose Reapers that are out here, and I'm sure they'll be joined together with Hellions soon enough, they can be very difficult to deal with if you do not have the Zergling speed. With just slow Zerglings and Queens, it can be a little bit rough to deal with the pressure that these units present.
So the Reaper's not getting anything particularly valuable, but he is getting the opportunity to see exactly what is going on in terms of the drone count, and that is almost as important as seeing tech itself. Being able to detect that your opponent is doing something pretty relaxed and pretty typical is always a nice reassurance at this point.
Yeah, MVP actually did go inside and did see that gas was being mined. He never saw the extractor, but he did see a drone or two. And he knows that come the 6-minute mark, that's when Zergling speed is usually done. It's when the Terran player will pull back his Reapers. But he will absolutely move out once again with the Hellions that he has on its way. But look at this. The double gases are taken. The barracks is in a funny location here, as well as the starport. It is trying to be hid.
Jaedong's doing kind of an unusually early scout. Normally it's closer to 7 that Zergs will swing on in, but Jaedong seems to have a great spider sense for what's up. There's the 6-minute third base going down, but Zergling speed is going to be coming up, and I fear that this is the one threat that Jaedong is not really prepared to deal with, Hellion and Banshee.
But that Overlord inside the main base of MVP from Jaedong says, all right, well, oh, hello, what do we see here? And
oh, it's a tech lab. Oh, it's
yeah, he knows what this is going to be for.
Unless it's Bomber, no one's going to be going for siege tanks early.
So an important point here is to creep spread between the bases against these Banshees.
Absolutely.
Queen defense is #1 here, and Spore Crawls will have to be made, I think, here, because the layer timing, I'm not too sure that the layer will be out in time. I think it's very close. The layer and the Banshees arriving. Maybe he doesn't need Spore Crawls in this point.
This is, I think, the best outcome that MVP can hope for. When is Hellion Banshee strongest? When the queen count is low and when the creep spread is minimal. Oh my god, if he got the chance to pick off that creep tumor, that would be a guaranteed dead third base. But it stays alive at 12 hit points. Is he going to try to target fire one of his units to pick it off? Jaedong, though, is preparing a counter.
Yeah, unfortunately it won't work, though. There is a complete wall here. But he has no idea about these Zerglings, MVP that is, about these Zerglings being on the other Zelnaga tower. But Jaedong needs to be careful. These are Zerglings which are not defending.
There, it looks like Jaedong is going to try to catch that Hellion off guard, but no, it's getting all picked off up in the main base, and we're seeing the Zerglings racing back, but the angle for MVP is fantastic right now. Look at that great control. It's an attempted surround. MVP does have a very nice tucked away position, but Jaedong is a little bit too good with his positioning.
Absolutely fantastic defense here by the Tyrant. The Queen is trying to get back a transfuse right before the death of that Queen, but unfortunately, Cloak is now done. Where is the first Overseer? There it is on the natural. And it will make its way over. Jaedong not taking too many losses here.
Oh my god, MVP taking massive losses. Jaedong is all over this game, and again the identical answer. Instantly throwing down the Baneling Nest when he detects weakness in his opponent. What do you do now as MVP? Jaedong, MVP going for double armory. He's going to attempt to transition to mech, but it is too little, too late. Zergling production, 10 at a time. There are no drones coming. Only a pair. What is MVP going to do? Pick off more drones? He has no time. There's going to be a massive assault at his front in no time flat.
Jaedong has molded his defense, which was the fast layer, into an aggressive strategy right now. He has a lot of gas in the bank. He doesn't have evolution chambers. He says, well, if I go for a fast layer, that means a fast spire. And are we going to have the right anti-air? Because currently, there isn't a single tech lab on a factory. I don't think there's an engineering bay down. What anti-air is there currently?
There is going to be next to nothing. MVP, does he have an engineering bay? Does he have time to get turrets in the positions he need? 1-1 upgrade starts, but what are you going to do right now as MVP? There's 8 Mutalisks on the way, 20 Zerglings. Drone count not getting that high for Jaedong. You know, in Brood War, he was known as one of the most aggressive, attack-oriented Zergs. And after so long of struggling, so many countless months of testing his style, we're seeing Jaedong come into his own.
All right, well, MVP does know about the Spire. The Banshee is going to get pushed back here, and the Mutalisks are on the way out, so that Banshee won't really do too much. But can he get the anti-air out? The turrets are not ready. The Thor's only just begun.
Uh-oh, 2 turrets just getting started. Excuse me, 2 Thors just getting started. MVP is praying that this heli encounter is going to be enough, but Jaedong seems to have enough Zerglings to answer. Surrounds, gets 1 kill, but MVP, oh my god, absolutely brutalizing the Zergling line, but MVP is up against the ropes now.
The Thors aren't ready yet, the turret's not ready either, and the Mutalisks are going to do a lot of damage here. Behind it, there's a lot of Zerglings in the way. There's Baneling Speed about to finish up as well, and Jaedong
There's the pause. It's a pause. The pause has been requested. Where's the pause? It looks like the admin has thrown down a pause. What is going on at this sort of tense moment? If there was some malfunction with the equipment, MVP would be so frustrated.
Yeah, this is a very interesting setup right now because Jaedong is about to launch an assault onto the natural. The supply depots are down. The Zerglings are actually pixels away from entering this location. The Balings are about to get morphed. And this is very interesting. We're about to have and find out what's going on right now. Day 9, but
definitely need an official bit of information from the admin to find out what was it that was going wrong, because in that point in time did look like MVP had a little bit of opportunity to throw down the turrets. We didn't see them go up as quickly as possible. He was struggling with the micromanagement up in the top corner, and his Hellions do seem to still be alive and well.
Yeah, they managed to just about escape there, but right now, I mean, this is a very dynamic position that MVP's facing. This could be his elimination from this tournament. Once this unpause comes, if he doesn't respond correctly, isn't set up correctly, this could be a very, very dangerous setup for him.
I mean, there's MVP in the booth right now. Looks like he's having an equipment check, just showing off a little bit of his mouse control right now. But the headphones are going back on.
So we should be able to continue this in a couple of moments' time. With the headset going back on, it seems like he is okay with everything inside his booth. That's a very tense situation that we have here, as Jaedong is coming for a kill.
Jaedong, though, I mean, think about that situation that he's in. In terms of the unit count, he hasn't really been producing as many drones. Normally, he'd want to be skyrocketing up to 82, 85 even, and he's under 60 right now at 57. So it looks like Jaedong has given a ready confirmation. We have nothing yet from MVP.
Oh, I think that is now MVP saying go. Jaedong currently, Day 9, is sitting at 45 Zerglings. He has 800 gas. He has no evolution chambers. He doesn't want to upgrade. He's about to morph a ton of Banelings.
An extremely hard position to come back into as either player. MVP with the defense. But, you know, Jaedong trying to close out this game. There's the 3-2-1. The game has been resumed. Lings and Mutas assaulting the front.
I mean, look at this. What does MVP have to defend at this point?
Thors have just popped out. The wall off. Still down. More Zerglings assaulting. The Hellions get surrounded. Oh my god.
It's a lot of Banelings, Day 9, and there's not much to stop them at this point. The Hellbats are getting targeted down. There's 2 Thors as anti-air, but look how many units Jaedong is morphing in.
Those SCVs have got to get out of there now. The Bane train is coming in.
And Jaedong's looking to close this series up. And the Thor in hold position. Oh my god, it's taking all the Baneling hits. And it tanks a lot of that. But as the anti-air goes down, 2 more turrets will pop. Jaedong 3-0 rips his headset out. What a series, Day 9. 3-0. Very fast, very easy from Jaedong.
Jaedong showed utter domination. We thought the match would be closer than this, but Jaedong's shown that when he has time to practice for his matches, when he needs to practice for a matchup, he will always bring his A game.
Guys, it's the first 3-0 of the 2013 WCS.